And it's Feeling You with Vic the Brick Jacobs right there and PJ over here. Happy New Year, Victor. How are you, my friend?
Happy New Year, PJ. Happy New Year, Chris Donovan.
Of course.
Everyone listening to Feeling You with
Yes.
Victor Brick Jacobs and PJ. And of course, Happy New Year to my beloved bride, Yuko Sakamoto.
Yes.
She is my soul, my support system, my everything. I want to thank Dave Cardona, the graphic master,
A
and
master.
also a great New Year to Dave. Listen, it's week 18, PJ, of the
Sure
National
is.
Football League. And I don't know where the time went.
I don't know.
Really, again, this is like a blur that we're in the final weekend of the regular
Yeah.
season.
Right.
This is crazy to me, but we're very lucky that last night we watched a team that could
Whoa.
be destined for the Super Bowl, and that is the Seattle Seahawks. They
How
look
about that?
tremendous.
They looked amazing, and the 49ers looked flat. They had a chance there at the end. They fumbled it away, basically have the ball stolen out of McCaffrey's hands, and that was it. That was the game.
The Seahawks have won seven straight. The Seahawks held the 49ers and McCaffrey, who's had a great year,
Yeah.
to like 173 total yards. Uh,
Amazing.
they they sacked Purdy three times. They hit him eight times.
Yep.
The defense is swarming, and we've seen it all through the season. And again, got to give it up for Sam Darnold. He may not have those gaudy statistics, but he wins.
He wins.
Last year he won. I won with the Vikings. Remember he was with the 49ers at one point.
Yep.
People had given up with him. I mean, I felt sorry for him when he got drafted by my New York Jets because I knew he was going into a hellhole. But he escaped the hellhole of the New York Jets and has carved out an incredible last couple of years in this league. He just played mistake-free football, no interceptions. The running game was incredible. Charbonnet, the former Bruin of UCLA, was great. Kenneth Walker also provided great bursts. Their offensive line dominated. But again, San Francisco, what a year. What a year they have had. Who would have thunk that if they had beaten Seattle at home on the final weekend, that they would be the number one seed in the NFC? That to me is also amazing how well the 49ers have played, PJ.
Yeah. No, really, incredibly well. We talked about it last week about all the injuries and everything that Shanahan has coached through and gotten them to that point. We're basically at that the last juncture of a couple minutes left in the game. They were a touchdown away from possibly winning the whole thing, but it is
I
incredible.
don't think they're ever in it, PJ, to tell the truth. That the Seattle defense was just so dominant, and the O line, it just seemed that they could go down the field whenever they wanted to, which they did, in the final quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the score was not representative of the domination of Seattle.
Well,
And
that's probably true,
this was
but
in
that's
Santa Clara. This is in the
yeah.
Niner Stadium.
Yeah, it's
It
pouring
just,
rain, and there's a lot going on there. But I think, you know, a lot of football games we watch, the score is not representative of the way it ends up. And all I'm saying is McCaffrey having that ball stolen out of his hands at the 4 yard line was a huge thing. Who knows? They probably wouldn't have, because like you're saying, Seattle's just too good on defense. But it would have made the game a lot more exciting in the end. And it all goes to Shanahan. My point was, I still believe Shanahan should be up in the running for Coach of the Year because he's done an amazing job. And we'll see how it ends up. But he's been very, very, very good. I don't know how you coach through all the injuries he's had, and he did it and got him to that point. So, yay to him for that. And Barkley, amazing. Back-to-back years of 14-3, 14-4, whatever their records are. He's had 14 wins last season with Minnesota, this year with Seattle. That's really good. Going
he
from team
wins.
to team. I mean, he wins.
Former USP Trojan at San Clemente High School.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, very underrated amongst everybody because his
Yeah.
numbers are not, crazy good.
Yeah.
But again, he played mistake-free football, and sometimes that's what is all you must do, especially in a big game on the road. So much at stake. A number one seed, first round bye. That was a loaded game. That wasn't just a week 18. Who's going to win the NFC West? I mean, that was just fully loaded.
Yeah.
Number one, to have the number one seed on the line, you get a bye for the first week. You automatically have a win. Basically, you don't have to go through that horrendous stretch. So Seattle, just a tremendous victory. I'm so impressed with Seattle. And the other game that had meaning, Tampa Bay, Carolina. Tampa Bay basically survives 16-14. They're still in it. And there are a number of factors today to get to the playoffs. Same with Carolina.
Hmm.
But whatever happens, the Los Angeles Rams, again, they're in the NFC West. The other team now in the NFC West, they will be if they beat Arizona later today, they'll be the 5 seed, and they would go on the road to play Tampa Bay or Carolina, depending how it all shakes out.
Wow.
And the Rams are playing everyone, PJ, which is very uncharacteristic for Sean McVay
Yeah. Yeah.
because
He's
he
not,
likes to rest everyone when it means nothing. And basically, this means nothing except a matchup for the Rams if they win or lose. Playing a horrific Arizona team,
yeah.
but he's playing everyone.
He's
Uh,
playing
you know,
everyone, and yeah.
Stafford's playing, and Puka's playing, and all the guys are playing.
I think anybody that can play, Dante Adams isn't probably going to play, but
No,
but the rest of them, if they're healthy, they're going to play. Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's an amazing thing that he's doing it. I mean, going back to the Bucks, I think, they get in if the Saints win. And I don't know if the
right.
Saints are going to win without Chris Olave. Olave came up with a blood clot in the lung, dangerous. So he's out, and he's the heart and soul of that team. So that could have been the end of the Bucks' chances. Carolina might take it now because of that. It's just going to be interesting to watch. It's an amazing day with the Rams playing Pittsburgh, Steelers versus the Ravens later today. That's an amazing game too. What Rodgers has been able to do with that team is pretty incredible. What is he, 41, 42 years old? It is incredible to watch.
And what's amazing is there's so much talk of both head coaches uh, being on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Now, they both have the longest tenured coaching
Yeah,
positions in
tenure.
the
Yeah.
league. Mike
Hmm.
Tomlin, 19 years with the Steelers. Steelers don't fire coaches. That's not
No.
their way.
Yeah.
And the Ravens with John Harbaugh, 18 years. And
Amazing.
now they're saying that Harbaugh is in trouble more than Tomlin if the
Yeah.
Ravens don't beat the Steelers tonight. Um,
What do you
I don't
think?
believe that. I think that just because you don't you get to the playoffs in this situation doesn't mean you fire the coach. Harbaugh didn't have Lamar Jackson most of the season. Lamar's been banged up, but Lamar's playing tonight.
Yeah.
Now, what's with Lamar Jackson that we're going to see? I don't know, but he's been banged up.
Yeah.
But they say he's playing. So are you telling me that the loser of Steelers Ravens, that head coach is gone? I don't think so. They're both great coach. They're great coaches.
They are. They
And
are.
who's out there?
Yeah.
You got to replace these people when you fire a head coach. You got to replace them with someone who's better. And who's better than Tomlin? Who's better than Harbaugh? Although Tomlin's postseason, I think he's 6-9 lifetime in the postseason. That's not fantastic. Harbaugh, he's won a Super Bowl. Tomlin's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But these two teams are basically foundations of the NFL. They're set pieces of
Yeah.
the National Football League with great coaching.
Great coaching.
But every year is different. How you respond to the change. And it's been tough with the Ravens. No one thought the Ravens were going to be in this position. Everyone thought,
No.
oh, Ravens going to playoffs. But
Yeah.
no, they have to beat the Steelers. And you're right. Can Aaron Rodgers? What does he have left tonight?
We'll
He's
see.
played.
That's
He's played well. I think. I
yeah.
think overall, at 41, Rodgers has played very, very well.
He doesn't have Metcalf, which was you could see it last week. That really slowed down their scoring. This could be like a super low scoring game between these two teams, like super low scoring.
Back in the day, vintage Ravens Steelers.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end of the day, you know, I think Rodgers could do it. I really do. I think he could do it. I think if he comes up with the short passing game, sticks with that low scoring game, I think he could pull it out. I really do. It'd be interesting.
I think
Interesting to
Lamar
see.
Jackson's the key. If you get a good Lamar Jackson, he's an MVP.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a
yeah,
multiple MVP.
exactly.
But how healthy is Lamar? I think that's the key to this game. That's going to be a fascinating watch as well. And there's some games of impact, but not many
No,
really at this point.
yeah,
Just head coaches on the hot seat seems to be a very very big item. Pete Carroll, they say he's gone.
really?
Word out of Vegas is he's gone after 1 year. He has a 3-year contract, PJ. But let's face it, it did not work with him and the silver and black this year.
It didn't, and it's unfortunate, but I believe with a guy like Carroll, you have to give him a chance to build in his system, just like Seattle did back in the day. Seattle didn't start winning as soon as Pete Carroll got there,
Right.
but he built in a system that's still working today. And it's because he knows how to do it, but it doesn't happen in a year. You have to be a bit of a visionary as an owner, I would think, and say, okay, we handed him a terrible team. Yeah, he didn't get many wins this year, but you see the development, you see things starting to happen. I think you've got to give him a year or two more to try to start turning that around. I mean, and like you said earlier, who are you going to hire? I mean, the Titans are looking for a coach. Their coaches are hard to find that are good. Yeah, you can go dip into the college ranks, but a lot of times, as we know, that doesn't work. Taking a college coach and putting him in the NFL doesn't work. And if it does work, it's over many years. So what do you really have to gain by getting rid of a Pete Carroll, more than just maybe being angry at the situation? But that's not showing anything. I think you need to, I like the way the Steelers have always handled it. They stick with their coaches. They understand there's going to be great years, there's going to be bad years. A lot of it is based on injuries and everything else, as we know. And you got to kind of stick with your guy. If you paid him that kind of money, you paid Pete Carroll that kind of money, and you invested in him in 3 years, it almost makes you as an owner look ridiculous a year later to fire him, going like, "Well, we didn't win." I mean, how much do you appreciate and know about football if that's your feeling as a owner? And I know the fans are upset, and I get that, but there's no coach that was going to come in there and turn that team around. Is there a coach you could mention, Jimmy Johnson or anybody else that could come in there and turn that team around in 1 year or even two?
No, no, and really, Pete was building a culture. It
Yeah,
didn't. You couldn't really see the impact of Pete in 1 year, as you say. It's
yeah,
going to take years and years of Pete Carroll building and building and building. So I don't like all this heat on Pete Carroll. In
yeah,
fact, to all Pete Carroll haters,
yeah.
give him a break.
Give him a
Give
break.
him a break. I say let him coach at least another year. What are you rushing? You've alienated Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Give Max Crosby what he wants. Let's hear what Max wants. But I would give Pete another year. So all the anti-Pete Carroll, you see the brick.
There
You
it
see
is.
him.
It's
You
right
see
there.
it. Yeah,
It.
you freaking dog, you. Oh,
Choke on it.
thank you, my love.
Choke on that brick.
I like Pete Carroll. Always have.
I
Always
do too.
will.
He's a
Oh, I know you do.
talented,
You do too.
talented,
Let's face it.
talented guy. Wherever he goes, he wins. Yeah. I mean, he's had some bumps in the road, as they all do, but that's based on other
And
things.
he's 74 years old
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's
74
true
plus
too.
creative and free. But I just felt for Pete all year. They've lost, what, 10 and 10 in a row? It started off so beautifully, going on the road to New England and
Yeah.
beating the Patriots
Beating the Patriots right out of the
in
gate.
week one. It just goes to show you, what does week one mean? Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
week
true.
one, the
Means nothing.
Raiders
Yeah.
beat the Patriots
Yeah.
in New England. I
I
mean,
think Pete
that's a,
Carroll, Pete Carroll, after the first game, should have resigned.
ah,
He just said, "You know what? This isn't for me. I don't want to do it anymore. But I'm going to leave. I got my first win. I
a positive note.
took a horrible team, and they won, and I'm gone. I'll see you later." You know,
Ah,
maybe that's the way you do it. I don't know. I don't know, but I know one thing. I know there's a lot of teams that need coaches, and show me where the stream of coaches are that are going to fill those voids. That's like saying the Steelers and Ravens are going to fire those great coaches. Who are they going to bring in? I can tell you right now, the Titans are going to pick up whoever. If the Steelers fire a coach, or if or if
offensive
the
coordinators
Ravens,
who are
yeah,
hot,
yeah,
or
they're gonna
defensive
pick those
coordinators
coaches.
who are hot.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
They'll be plucked.
But
But you're right. Where you going when you have
yeah,
Mike Tomlin?
yeah.
Where you going when you have John Harbaugh? These are
Well,
two
look at it,
sensational coaches.
and even when these offensive coaches are hot, they're hot in what they do. I mean, look at Glenn going to the Jets.
Aaron Glenn, sure.
Think of that. That was supposed to be a really hot move. It didn't even bump
Nothing
the
panned out.
Jets. Nothing panned out. So you could either say we're going to give him a couple years to mature in that job, or you can say what they're saying to Pete Carroll. You didn't turn him around. You didn't do this. You're fired. That's not the way to look at it. You can't look. Football's long term. It's not short term. There's no short term fixes in football. It's long term, and you've got to stick with your guy. Over 2 or 3 years, you see the culture is not changing. Nobody wants to play for him. I get it. Then you have to make a move. We're not at that juncture. I don't feel even with Glenn, even though Glenn, I thought really, if we're talking about the Jets for a minute, misused Brees Hall completely. He did not use him properly. Brees Hall is now going to be a free agent. I know he wants out of there. Um, and I don't blame him because he was misused, and I think the Jets could have done better than they did. But once again, there you go. So, you know, a lot of coaches
They're a
on the
hapless
hot seat.
organization, the Jets, and I should know that because I grew up in the organization. They're hapless. Um,
Yeah.
it's just a history of disaster, a history of failure, along with the New York Football Giants as well. What's interesting, PJ, do you think the recent allegations in New England are going to affect the Patriots' play? They have two guys you know, under allegations.
Well, yeah.
Barmore, Christian Barmore, the fabulous defensive tackle. Uh, he is the most recent. Uh, is that going to affect the play? I mean, Mike Vrabel's looking into it.
I
Um,
don't think so. I think that for that team, Vrabel is such a strong influence.
he's a rock.
He's a rock and he keeps them focused. And I don't think that's going to bother them at all. What's going on outside is what's going on outside. And if these two guys end up going to jail or spending time suspension or whatever, he's not going to let that affect that team. He coaches too well and he's too strong a character. I don't think, you know, that would be like the same thing happening to the Lions. That would never happen. That there's too much focus in the coaching that to let that happen. So I don't think that it's going to affect the Pats. I think the Pats are on an amazing streak, and depending what happens with Denver today, they could end up, the number one seed. So
And Drake May could be the MVP
and
over
he could
Matthew
be,
Stafford, which I disagree with, just because Stafford had a weak game. His
yeah, yeah,
last game with the three picks. Stafford still is having an MVP year, but so is Drake May. But at this point, I would vote Matthew Stafford as the MVP, just because number one, Stafford came out of the chute with a bad back.
yeah.
No one even thought he was going to play,
I
and he's
know.
played magnificent football. May has been solid, sensational. Um, but I would go Matt Stafford. Staying in the Los Angeles area, PJ. How about the Chargers?
Hmm.
They're playing your Broncos, a meaningless game, really, for the Chargers. They're resting Herbert, and they're resting a lot of guys because they realize they need a healthy unit, and they've been banged up all year with that offensive line. Nothing's changed there. They still have to learn how to protect Herbert, and they
Yeah,
have occasionally, but many times Herbert just gets beaten up. So a wise move, I say, to
yep,
rest Herbert today and get them ready for the wild card game on the road, which might be at New England, PJ.
yeah. No, good chance of that. Good chance of being, and I think it's such a wise move that that's being done and that they're resting these injured players. You have to do that at this point. It's not, if they beat Denver, it's not going to affect them. It doesn't really
No,
affect them. It has no effect. So why do that? Why, obviously their players are going to be in there. They're going to be trying to win, but to use your best players at a time like this when they need to rest to get ready for the playoffs, it's a very smart move by Harbaugh. Very smart. And I endorse it 1,000%. I really do. And I'm sure the Rams like it too. So we'll see what happens.
The Broncos still have a shot at the number one seed.
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah,
still have a shot,
yeah. No, they,
which is unbelievable. Bo Nick's so inconsistent this year,
yeah,
but again, he also, a lot like Sam Darnold, just wins.
yeah.
He puts together fourth quarter rallies, uh, just wins.
Well,
So they're a dangerous team with a dangerous defense. A la Seattle, dangerous defense, and they just win. I mean,
I heard so many people throughout the whole season talking about Seattle waiting for Donald's demise, kind of just waiting for it to
right.
happen, right? That's kind of been the whole road is wait, wait, wait. He's going to fall off. He's going to give the ball away. He's going to lose. Seattle's not going to be there in the end. Well, the reality is they are there. Their defense has held them up when they needed to, but Donald has done a great job of orchestrating wins. And so, yeah, to all that, I just say, you know, watch Seattle. They're a team to reckon with. They're like Denver. They're a team to reckon with right now. They really are.
Let's face it, it is so wide open. There is no heavy favorite. There are certain teams you can say, okay, I trust them this weekend. I trust Seattle. Okay, I I trust the Broncos.
Yeah,
Trust the Eagles lately. The Eagles are
maybe.
playing good ball lately a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
I trust the Bears. They're playing some really good ball. But this league is so wide open, which makes it so entertaining, and that's why we love it so.
oh,
But PJ, turn to college football. Your
yeah.
USC Trojans. What what a horrific effort at the Alamo Bowl. Forget the Alamo. I
Choke.
mean, they had a worse day at the Alamo than Jim Bowie.
Yeah.
I mean, they were horrific to beat.
Yeah.
To you're up 10 against a mediocre TCU team, and then that play that that TCU, the running back Payne goes through like five guys, breaks five tackles. USC can't tackle. USC cannot tackle, PJ. They run an offense that's just decent, but their defense is from hell. Even Lendale White, one of the great alumni, with Reggie Bush, Thunder
Yeah.
and Lightning, Lendale White, all over them, saying, "What's going on here? Don't they practice defense?" And they looked horrific. That was just a low blow. The season's a total failure for
Well,
USC, as far as I'm concerned, PJ.
100%, 100%. And I've said it from the beginning. I said, first of all, why play these bowl games? If you're not gonna, if you're not doing well, why put yourself in another situation? I said this many weeks ago, and I've said it every week. USC shouldn't have been in a bowl game. A, they didn't deserve it, in my opinion. And B, I don't care what their record is. They lost the big games that were meaningful. And, this is on Riley. For the last 5 years, all we've talked about, 4 years, is the defense of USC. Has it gotten better? No, it's gotten worse. It gave up this game to, like you say, a mediocre Horned Frog team. I mean, come on. This is a joke. It's really a joke. I can remember back in the day when USC used to play in a bowl game because they were so bad. They were playing Fresno in a bowl game. I mean, come on. Why would you accept a bid like that? Why would you do that? This is has to be done. Is Riley's job on the hot seat? It should be 100%. The only reason it won't be is because they paid him a ridiculous amount of money to coach this team, you know. But here's what I do. You got that much money, USC? Make him your offensive coordinator. Riley's a great offensive coordinator. You need a head coach that understands defense because he runs the team. Riley does not understand defense. He's proven it. You can't give him, we were talking about Carroll giving him chances, all these people. How many years are you going to give Riley a chance to keep firing uh, defensive coaches and bringing them in? You need a head coach that understands defense. Make Riley you got him under contract. He may quit, but I'd make him your offensive coach and say, you're great at that. You're not good at defense. I mean, we got to face the facts. How many more games is USC going to lose? They're in the Big Ten. Big Ten is built on defense. I'm sorry. You should have stayed in the Pac-10 if you wanted to do what you're doing. You moved to the Big Ten for a lot of money. Guess what? Now you got to spend that money to get a defensive coach. It isn't happening. And it's not going to happen next year. Next year is going to be the same thing. They're going to lose to the big teams the same way they're losing now because the Big Ten is about defense. It always has been about defense. And we're not.
USC, fire Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Enough with the pain. Every year you're going to go through the same thing.
Yeah.
This was a horrific year. They're going to drop out of the top 25.
Yeah.
Navy is going to be ranked higher. Navy, the midshipmen, who I
Yeah.
love, but they're going to be ranked higher
Yeah.
than USC when the final rankings come out. So to USC, Lincoln Riley, enough already. You see the brick.
There it
You
is.
see it.
There it is.
This is the wall of Troy is tumbling down. Eat it, you freaks. Agog me, you.
I love it.
Ah,
I love it. I love that brick.
so frustrating, PJ.
Just
But
crazy.
college football, you mentioned, Big Ten, Indiana. They look great.
Oh,
They
sharp.
destroy Alabama.
Embarrassing.
Who saw that
Embarrassed
coming at the
Alabama.
Rose Bowl?
When is the team embarrassed Alabama? I
Never.
mean, never. This team looked so good. I was so impressed, and they look sharp. And I just think, this is what I'm talking about. The Big Ten. This is where it's going. How can USC compete with that? They can't. There's no way. I don't care how many points you put on the board. If you can't stop a team from scoring, you're going to lose. So yeah, yeah, no, but I love the look of Indiana. I think it's going to be very interesting. What are they? They play Oregon
Oregon.
next. Wow, that's going to be a game. That is going to be a game, and I think you better watch out, Oregon, because as good as you are, this Indiana team is red hot. So
Listen, college football playoff, a lot of upsets, but Ole Miss hangs in there, even without Lane Kiffin.
who
Lane Kiffin,
knew?
he was watching LSU women's volleyball while the Rebels were upsetting Georgia.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Ole Miss is the team he built.
yeah.
They're solid. They don't need Lane Kiffin. They have incredible talent.
And Lane Kiffin, talk about a guy rising from the ashes. I mean, come
Oh,
on. Think of his background of USC and what the Raiders, whatever, all horrible. But yeah, you got to give him some credit now. He's risen from the ashes. So whatever he's watching is working. Let's put
yeah.
it that way. Whatever he's watching is somehow working. What I can't hardly watch anymore are the Lakers, unfortunately.
Oh,
I mean, I'm loving the Clips. We talked about the Clippers, how poorly they were doing. I'm loving they're
they
winning.
won six in a row, the
Yeah,
Clippers, and they got blown out last night by 30 by the Celtics at home, which was disappointing. Jalen Brown scored 50, but the Claw had a week that was just unprecedented. He was averaging 40 a game.
yeah, beautiful.
Kawhi Leonard was on fire.
Yeah, he came to play finally.
And that was great to see if you're a Clipper fan.
Yeah.
I like to see them, come out of the muck because I know T. Lue's a wonderful coach. The team has not been put together well this year, but a healthy Kawhi Leonard and the beard,
Oh,
and
weird.
so they could maybe make the playoffs. They're only a couple games from the last berth, the number
Yeah.
10. They're like
I
two
think
games
they're I
back.
think they're three out right now from
So
the
so
yeah.
they could come back, but it's the Lakers, PJ.
Oh,
Every time they lose a game, they lose by double digits. The record looks good, 21-11 or something like that. It looks good, but they're not playing good basketball.
they're not. And they're not playing, Vic, they're not playing inspired basketball.
No.
If I don't see, I see every one of those guys on the court right now playing for themselves. The ones that are scoring are playing for themselves. This includes Luca. This, includes all of them. I miss Reeves, but the bottom line is that I don't see the unity in that team. You can't win without unity in a team. I don't know why JJ isn't inspiring them to come together as a unit and win because they've certainly got the talent. But if you're going to keep playing individual accolades and it's how many points can I score versus how many points you score, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. And that's what I'm feeling when I'm watching them, and that's what I'm seeing, And I see the exact opposite in the Clippers who turned it around. They're playing unified basketball. You have to play that way. OKC and these teams are waiting for you. They're going to eat you alive. And it's like there's no way to go. There's no way to go with it. So I don't know. Can JJ get them to unify? I
No,
mean,
they were five seed, PJ. They have to make another move.
yeah,
They're a five seed,
yeah.
and that is no man's land
Okay.
uh, in the West.
Yeah.
There's too many teams that they cannot beat in a 7 game series, beginning with Oklahoma City, of course,
Yeah.
Denver,
Denver.
Minnesota. I still don't think they can beat Minnesota in a 7 game series.
I don't even think they can beat Memphis. I know they did, but Memphis is a really good team. I think by and large, overall, they could end up losing if they have to keep playing Memphis. Memphis is a good team.
Houston, very good team.
Houston, good team.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're a five seed, but they could easily be an eight seed.
Yeah.
Uh, they're not playing good basketball, but the record shows they're 21-11. But when they lose, PJ, it's always a blowout.
Oh,
It's
it's a
never a
blowout.
close game.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just
No,
get, and that's so disheartening if you're a Laker fan. At
totally.
least make the games close. Let us compete.
Yeah.
But yeah, they came through. They beat Memphis. Aiton was having a bad game, and Jackson Hayes came in and played the vital minutes down the stretch, which
Yeah.
I like.
Yeah.
JJ will pull you if you're not playing good ball. He'll pull you. He pulled Aiton,
Right.
and Jackson played well.
Yeah.
So I like the moves by JJ again. Luke is very banged up. It seems he has, he has some physical issues. He's still playing great.
He's playing great.
LeBron's playing great.
But who's Vic? We talked about this before. Who's the team leader on that team?
I
Who
still
is?
think it's Marcus Smart.
Well, okay. He's the spark plug. He's got to be the spark plug. I don't feel a team leader. I don't feel someone calling them together in the locker room and saying, "Come on, guys, let's go, let's do this." Calling them in the huddle. I don't see anybody talking up. You know, LeBron's taken kind of a step back ever since Luka came in, so he's no longer the team leader. Lucas should be the team leader, but Smart probably is. But Smart's probably a little intimidated to talk up with all those guys in there. So it's just it's a scrambled mess. It has to come together and unify. But I'll tell you what's irritating me because we're getting close to we have to go, and I really want your comments on this. Anthony Edwards with the Wolves walking out like he did and leaving the game with almost 8 minutes left irritated me so much that I actually sat down, I went to my computer, and I did the math, which I'll tell you about, on this guy who is, making $62 million.
Well, he's
62.
one of the best players in the NBA.
There's no doubt.
The Ant is
There's
one
no
of the best
doubt.
players in the NBA.
There's no doubt. But as one of the best players in the NBA, all the kids are watching you. Everybody's watching your moves. You have to be a role model. This guy is getting paid over $15,000 a minute. And if I was the Wolves, I'd compute that up. I would. And I'd say, you owe me $126,000 for walking out 8 minutes before the end of the game. Not only a terrible role model, bad for the game, bad look for the coach, Chris Finch, who didn't like it, but I don't see him do anything about it. He should be benched the next game. He should have to pay back that money to the Wolves. And the same thing with Draymond Green, who did it. I mean, this is becoming a thing. They both did it in December, right? Draymond got in a fight with Kerr and walked out on the Warriors, right? There was less time left, but still, same deal. They need to be fined and benched until, 1 or 2 games and then come back. I really feel like that has to happen. These guys are role models for the kids, and this
I
is
totally
not
agree,
the way to
PJ.
do it.
There has to be some discipline.
Yeah,
You can't walk off the court with 7 minutes left. And your team's getting blown out. As a leader, you must step up and say, listen, we're losing. I'm still going to give it 100%,
yeah.
110% on every possession. Uh, Ant Edwards, wonderful player, horrific attitude. You can't, that's just unacceptable. So
Unacceptable.
to Ant Edwards
Oh,
and
please,
Draymond, stay in the
please.
game. Your role models. Stay in the game. That you're getting paid what, $15,000 a minute? You said, PJ? For Ant
A
Edwards,
minute, a
15,000
minute.
a minute. You're right. He does owe Los Lobos minutes. He owes the Timberwolves money. You
Pay
see
it
the
back.
brick, Ant
Yeah,
Edwards, stay in the freaking game. You see the brick. Please
you deserve it.
dog me, you.
Beautiful,
Ah,
beautiful. What a great way to wrap up our show. Beautiful, beautiful brick, beautiful gong, Ukes. Nice job, everybody. Chris, our executive producer and producer,
the
Chris
best. Chris
Donovan, the
Donovan's the
best,
best.
the best. And of course, Dave Cardonis, who does those graphics.
Graphic
I
master.
love watching the graphics work. Does a great job.
And a great setup by Yuko Sakamoto today, my beloved bride,
Beautiful, always.
with this with a lamp behind me, my holiday lamp
Yeah,
that Yuko projected on us. It's beautiful. Thank you. And again, it's a new year, man.
let's do it.
2026, a year of bliss. Everyone stay healthy.
Yep,
Everyone stay joyful, and just push it forward. Positive energy,
let's go.
tranquility, harmony, purity, and respect. And thank you to everyone for listening to Feeling You with Victor Brick Jacobs and PJ. Feeling You!